Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics. A while back we did a video on the pros and cons of wild caught fish. I will put that in the description below as well as in the upper right hand corner. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, I highly recommend check it out. We had a unique opportunity at the Aquatic Experience to interview Project Piaba. They are a conservation group that deals with some of the issues that are found in South and Central America surrounding the wild caught industry. In this video, we're going to talk about what people face in those regions and what Project Piaba is doing. Their information is in the description below, their website. I highly recommend check that out as well. Thank you so much to Tori for spending a few minutes with us explaining what Project Piaba does. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics and I am here with Project Piaba. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tori. I'm the Assistant Director of Education at Project Piaba.
Very cool. So we're going to learn a little bit today about what Project Piaba does. If you remember, a while back I did a video about wild caught fish and we talked about the pros and the cons of wild caught fish, but I thought I would bring an expert to talk a little bit more about it, talk about what Project Piaba is doing. So why don't you give us a little background? Who are you? What do you do for Project Piaba? What is Project Piaba?
Okay, so Project Piaba is completely volunteer run. None of us get paid to do this, so we all are just super into it for the fish and the people. Project Piaba is a nonprofit organization that helps promote conservation through the aquarium hobby. So fishermen in Brazil who don't have a whole lot of different ways to make money to feed their families, they can do slash and burn farming, they can cut down the rainforest, they can do logging, all that kind of really destructive things, or they can go out in their backyard and catch aquarium fish. These are all fish that the way that it works as far as the rainy and dry season makes this like a really unique situation. So when the rainy season comes, the water level shoots up, there's a whole lot of nutrients, a whole lot of water, space, all the fish make a ton of babies, and then the water level goes back down in the dry season. And most of those fish just end up trapped in puddles that are gonna dry out and they're gonna die. So it's not even possible to catch all of the fish that would end up dead anyway. So unfortunately those fish are kind of ended up doomed. So by catching them and sending them out for people to put in their home aquariums, we have zero impact on the wild fish population. And because now these fishermen are really interested in keeping their livelihood going and keeping their family fed and everything, they're preserving that, because you can't have a healthy, sustainable fish catching job without the healthy ecosystem around it.
And that's an important point. One of the comments that I saw a lot in the video I did about wild caught fish is that fish should never be taken from the wild. And one of the things that we have to appreciate when it comes to a wild ecosystem is that these fish often don't have a long lifespan, especially as you just mentioned, where they're in these confined areas. In the rainy season it's great, but then as it dries out a little bit, they're just going to become little fish chips after a while.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure exactly of the percentage, but it's somewhere around 90% of the fish don't make it to the next year. So the average lifespan of a cardinal tetra is 1 year, and they usually don't see the next year.
And in a home aquarium that can last multiple years. So
yes.
We're extending their quality of life. So can you tell us a little bit about how are you working with the collectors in protecting the environment around the rivers and the lakes that they're collecting from?
Yeah, so these people, it's not important just to protect their one little part of the river. That's not really how rivers work. So if someone is doing some awful mining or logging and releasing a whole bunch of junk upstream, that's still going to come down. That's still going to affect your fish. That's still going to affect your backyard and your livelihood. So just by them being reliant on these awesome fish, they are now super into protecting everything around them. They don't want people to cut everything down. They don't want there to be erosion. They don't want there to be any chemicals being anywhere, pesticides for farming and all that kind of stuff. So by helping them keep this going, they, like the people that live there and have been fishing for 5 generations, they want to keep this clean. They want to keep it healthy, and they want to help protect the rainforest instead of being forced to cut it down without any other way to get food.
That's awesome. So they take ownership over their own ecosystem, and that's sustainable rather than having an outside force or organization say you have to do this. It's more, hey, it's a training process where this is why this would be a good idea. You can still provide for your family and catch these fish and do it sustainably, and also discourage the industries that are really having a massive impact in those areas.
Yeah, and if your neighbor is doing something destructive, like you're going to go over, you're going to say something, you're messing up my life, this is my job, I need you to not do this, versus like, oh, they government is telling us we can't do this, someone else is telling us we can't do this, that doesn't stop you, that just makes you want to do it more, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you don't have another option, you're going to focus really hard on making sure that no one else destroys it either.
Right. So tell us a little about how can people find out more information about Project Piaba? Where do they go? What can they do? How can they support you?
Yeah, so we have a website, projectpiaba.org. There's a tab to donate there. It just talking about us, spreading the word is really important. Just getting our name out there, telling people what we're all about, especially because, that first reaction to like, oh, wild caught fish, people are like, I don't know about that, why? So it's really important that people know our story, people know what we're about, because it sounds wild. What do you mean buy a fish, save a tree? That doesn't make any sense,
right.
Until you hear the whole story. So even just word of mouth passing stuff on, but our website does have most of the information on it.
Awesome, and I will put their website in the description below. If you want to see more, I highly recommend check it out. There's a lot of information there. Well, thank you so much for sitting with us and telling us more about Project Piaba.
Thanks
Guys,
for having
check it
me.
out. Check out the website.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.